The best way to improve your writing is to read. That's always one of my absolute top recommendations for aspiring writers and even those who are actively working as professional writers but always want to improve their craft. The second best thing you can do is to get into the nitty-gritty editing, correcting, let's call it roasting side of things. I've done this before 2 times in the past, going through some really old writing that I sold when I first started back on Fiverr in 2013, and I'm going to do it again today. So follow along for me just ripping my old self to shreds, trying to get some creative juices flowing and learn some tips along the way for writing better blog posts that are more engaging, easier to read, and overall just better for your clients. Hey, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the very first time. All around, welcome. I'm Carrieblogger, a career freelancer on Fiverr.com, where I've been selling as a Fiverr Pro verified copywriter for about the past 9 years. And in today's Freelance Friday video, like I said, I am roasting an old blog post that I wrote for a client. We're gonna rip it to shreds. We're gonna see where I could have done better, and I'm going to give you some actionable proven tips along the way to improve your own writing. But before we get into that, we have to announce this week's Blogger of the Week. And if you'd like to be the Blogger of the Week, just like Nikita Roy Banerjee, all you have to do is drop a comment down below and you might get picked. All right, blue blocker glasses are going on. Ignore the glare. I've got to use these when I'm on my computer all the time. And if you're interested in getting this pair for yourself, which are my absolute favorite I've had for ages, just use the link down in the description. I love them to death and cannot recommend them enough. All right, top 5 things to do in ANSI. First, small mistake is capitalization in my title. Title case, in a nutshell, always make sure that your verbs, in this case, are capitalized. First and last, capitalized, easy. The actual title itself is pretty lame, so we're just going to beef it up with one tiny little adjective. So let's say top 5 must book activities, or can't miss. We'll do can't miss. Top 5 can't miss activities in ANSI. So I can't spell adventurers in ANSI. That's a lot better. We have a little more grip to it. We've got a little bit of a specific differentiator to drive our audience specifically based on the stuff we've got going on. All right. ANSI is a beautiful, worst adjective in the world, town in the southeast of France. We can just call it Southeast France, close to the border of Switzerland. Does that really have to be put in there? Probably not the most important detail to start with. Which can be overlooked by tourists who are starstruck with the Parisian romance farther north. With the Parisian romance, who are starstruck, which can be all of these like filler words. I think for sure we could rewrite this starting sentence to have more punch right off the bat. Ultimately, the opener I'm trying to introduce is that this is a town worth visiting, even though most people when they think of France just think of Paris, especially for tourism. Even the word charming would be better than beautiful. It's not that much better, but it is better. French natives often travel to ANSI as a prime destination for summer vacations, as well as using the city as a home base with winter trips to the Alps. So I always talk about repetition, and especially just for the pace of reading out loud. So as well as using the city as, big mistake. I would just say, and the city is the perfect home base for winter trips to the Alps. So now we just got rid of that repetition. Easy, just by rewriting and rephrasing the sentence a little bit. French natives often travel to ANSI as a prime destination for summer vacations, and the city is the perfect home base for winter trips to the Alps. And it's, that way I don't have yet another the and the right next to each other. We can clean that up even more. There are innumerable, ooh, Carrie really wanted to get on the vocab grind. We don't need to say that. That's like way too try hard for just a casual travel blog. There are tons. That's like so much more down to earth. There are tons of activities to enjoy in ANSI that meet any occasion and interest. Meeting an occasion, not a normal phrase. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. For every occasion and interest, sure. Still a little weird, but it's better. Summer, winter, spring. So I should put season if that's what I'm gonna list out here in a second. For every occasion, season, and interest. Summer, winter, spring, cheap, spendy, cultured, or simply good fun. That's kind of cute. I'm gonna drag this onto its next paragraph so that we have an easier visual flow to the blog for sure. Here's a list of the top 5 things to do in ANSI. In my case, especially with sales writing where you want most numbers to really pop off the screen and be very instantly visual as a sales effect. In this case, I'm going to spell it out. And you can see that that doesn't pop as well if you're reading across here. Top 5, that number symbol is out of the blue in a sea of written words, so that catches your attention a little more. And instead of here is the list, which is so boring, let's say, let's explore the top 5 things to do in ANSI. And because I changed my title, I want to recap this title here. Let's explore the top 5 adventurous activities in ANSI. Okay, let's take a second to talk about today's video sponsor, Indie. Indie is an all-in-one productivity suite for freelancers with invoices, contracts, forms, proposals, task management tools, a time tracker, and more. Basically, everything a freelancer needs to manage their business. Indie wants to help everyone get the boring administration done faster so that you can spend more time doing what you love, perfecting your skills and impressing customers. Indie's mission is to make freelancing simple. Until June 18th, you can use the code Carrie with the link in the description to get your first month free. And then it's only $5.99 per month after that. Thanks again to Indie for sponsoring this video. This beautiful castle stands tall on a rocky spur looking out over the ANSI Lake and surrounding mountains, and has been the home of the Menton family for the centuries since its erection. You can tell that when I reached the middle point of that sentence, I naturally paused, expecting that it was going to be over, and because there was no comma to tell me that I had a phrase was over and then was continuing, I kind of got stuck. So A, comma, next phrase. In this case, do we really need to lump those two things together? Probably not. It's not really the same concept, so we can definitely just send it into a separate idea. A vast book collection put together by the family is an interesting spectacle to view in the library. So we really want to say all of this flipped around for clarity. Let's say, putting the person first who's reading this, guests enjoy viewing the family's vast, I can't spell family, Jesus. Family's vast book collection, which has been growing for centuries. Oh, I said for centuries. I'm not gonna say that again. Which is, I don't know, respected among bibliophiles or something interesting. Something there. Again, doing my research, I would know what to say. During the German invasion, comma, the castle was fortified and unable to be penetrated, so none of the historical collection was lost or destroyed. Okay, so that's the interesting fact. Let's tie this together. The interesting fact happened so late in the sentence, I didn't really know where it was going. We always want to give the grip of the sentence, the meat of it, as close to the beginning as possible, and then you back it up with all those other facts. But people need to know why they're reading a sentence, and as much as you can do to lump them into the fray, lump them into the action as the reader, even better. Guests enjoy viewing, you know what? Let's just put them really first and start with a verb, which is one of my absolute favorite ways to start a sentence. Peruse the family's vast book collection. Maybe I'll do rare book collection. A little more interesting than vast, which was protected, which was safeguarded, even better, which was safeguarded and protected during the German Nazi invasion during World War II, which was safeguarded and protected by the castle's fortified walls during the German Nazi invasion of World War II. So if we read back that whole paragraph section, now we've got a little bit more focus to it. I think the sentences flow more logically together, and it's just a little easier to read in terms of phrasing. Here's the example. This beautiful castle stands tall on a rocky spur looking out over the ANSI Lake and surrounding mountains. The Menton family has resided here for centuries since its erection in whatever year. Peruse the family's rare book collection, which was safeguarded and protected by the castle's fortified walls during the German Nazi invasion during World War II. And then, because we want this to be adventure-y, let's say, I don't want to start with then, but let's say after a trip to the library, finish your tour with a breathtaking view of the cliff's edge. Or a heart-pounding would be an even better adjective for this adventurer twist that we're trying to take on ANSI. The Church of St. Maurice, I won't actually edit this one, we're just gonna talk through little mistakes, Although this church is less lavish than others to tour around the country, comma, already pause there. Although the church is less lavish than others to tour, we don't need to tour because that's unnecessary. Is less lavish than others is a really awkward way to say that. Although this church is more understated than many other French institutions, there we go. Its understated elegance and architectural grace match the charm of this town, not the town. As a calm place for serenity to escape the hustle and bustle of the city. That's way too long for an opener. Oh my gosh, we want little snapshots at the front to be just a quick little blurb that we get into the sentence itself, the meat, the heart. As a, let's just say, escape the hustle and bustle of the city with a serene midday walking tour. Let's do that. Doesn't totally match our adventurous vibe, but that's okay. The Georges de Fier, just under 15 minutes outside of the city. Let's take out of, outside the city, comma. You can stroll walkways along the inside of canyon walls. You can, why, we don't have to say that. So instead, let's just say stroll inside steep canyon walls and something else you can do there. Stroll inside steep canyon walls and gaze at the mountaintops from a different view or something like that. And then we'll put just 15 minutes outside the city. Georges de Fier provides tremendous views of nature with enough interesting attractions to fill an entire afternoon. That would be a much better way to rephrase the sentence. Paddle boats on the lake. So I haven't, again, followed my capitalization. Super simple mistake that's really, really common, especially for younger writers, as I was at the time of writing this. Paddle out to the middle of the lake with a group of friends and a picnic basket, and you're in heaven. I mean, if I really want to say that, ... that makes it much better. You don't have the ands back to back. Swimming, paddling, and sunbathing can all be enjoyed. Again, this is like filler that makes it so awkward in the middle of my sentence. I should say like swimming, paddling, and sunbathing are popular along the edge of this vast blue ocean lake. Ocean lake, what the heck am I talking about? You get the idea. And defining the vividness of the blue, which it really is gorgeous. I've been here, it's stunning, would be a really effective opportunity to use that descriptive language to hook you in and make you feel like you're there, which is the goal. But I'm currently not doing at all in this old draft. Hang gliding in the French Alps. Is hang gliding a mixed word? I think it is. Maybe not. I have to check that. This is for the daredevils and the fearless. Calling all daredevils. That's a more charming, witty, cute way to say it. Leaping off the French Alps, you are able to. Again, why the heck did I think this was a good phrase back then? Nope. This whole second sentence should be more like, leap into the sky off the edge of the Alps and join a group, better word for group, of colorful parasols as you float down to the ground below. That's not my best writing, but see, it's like more active, it's more imaginative, and it's just more streamlined for what the goal of the sentence is. Admission is a considerable investment, but the flight will provide the most thrilling views in all directions. Will provide, but the flight provides thrilling views in all directions. Just by taking out a couple words there, we've cleaned it up considerably, and that's the idea. So honestly, I think this one's way better than the other two that I roasted in the past. For $5, this is a darn good, well-researched, pretty well-written blog. There wasn't really a focus to it besides just 5 random things in ANSI. And of course, there's no closer at all, which is kind of a missed opportunity, but not too shabby. Hopefully this was interesting for you. Hopefully you learned something along the way in terms of how to clean up those sentences, get a little more action and engagement out of your writing. If you're still here, you know, you're my actual hero. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the pinned comment and links in the description down below to all the stuff I've got going on. And as always, you know that you are worth so much more than your workload. Let's get back to work.